I still remember the taste of that last bite, medium-rare steak, soaked in my own humiliation. My fingers trembled as I gripped the wine glass, but it was not the alcohol that made my vision blur. It was the sharp, cold sting of Jessica's words. She leaned back in her chair, her fake laugh echoing through the upscale restaurant. Then she turned to me, glass in hand, and asked loudly in front of everyone, "So tell me, Sarah, do you scrub toilets with gloves or bare hands these days?" I looked at her. The woman who once braided my hair in 8th grade. The one I had shared secrets with. But that night, under crystal chandeliers and candlelight, she was nothing more than a beautifully dressed serpent. I smiled back with whatever dignity I had left. I swallowed my pain like the last sip of bitter wine, and walked out into the night air where my world began to unravel. Before we go deeper into what happened after I left that dinner, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who has subscribed to this channel. Your support means the world to me. To all my viewers who are yet to subscribe, I truly appreciate you. I cannot wait for you to hit that subscribe button. It serves as the fuel and energy that keeps this channel alive and thriving. Do not forget to share your thoughts in the comments right after this chapter. I read every single one of them and they keep me going. Now let us go back to the night everything changed. My name is Sarah Monroe. I am 39 years old, divorced, and a mother to a teenage daughter. I live in a quiet neighborhood just outside Tampa, Florida, where I work as a cleaner in a luxury hotel. I have no shame in saying it. I scrub bathtubs. I polish floors. I clean up after people who look through me like I do not exist. But I do exist and I feel everything. The invitation came 2 weeks before that cursed dinner. A fancy email sent by one of the girls from high school, announcing a reunion dinner for the Legacy ladies. Our old clique. I stared at it for days. I almost deleted it. Why would I want to sit across from women who now own businesses, drove Teslas, and wore high heels like weapons? I owned 2 uniforms, blue and green, and a pair of worn-out sneakers. But something in me said go. Maybe I wanted to prove to myself that I could still belong. So I went. I put on a little black dress that I had not worn since before my ex-husband left me. I ironed it, did my makeup with trembling hands, and curled my hair just like I used to in high school. I even sprayed the perfume I kept for special days. And for a moment, looking at myself in the mirror, I felt visible again. The restaurant was elegant. White tablecloths, soft jazz playing, and glasses that looked more expensive than my monthly rent. I recognized every face at the table. Jessica was there, of course. She still looked flawless. Plump lips, thick hair, those eyes that always seemed to hold secrets. And next to her sat her husband, Ryan. Tall, confident, the kind of man who had that quiet dominance about him. I remembered having a crush on him back in high school, but he had eyes only for Jessica back then. Everyone took turns talking about their accomplishments.
Interior designers.
Nurses. Real estate brokers. Then it was my turn. Jessica asked with a grin plastered across her face. So Sarah, what are you up to these days? I told the truth. I said I worked in hospitality and that I was a room attendant at the Wyndham Grand. I said it with pride, or at least I tried to. But I felt it. The air shifted. A few side glances. A pause just long enough to bruise. That was when Jessica leaned in and delivered the line that cut me open in front of everyone. Laughter followed. Polite at first, then real. I remember pushing my chair back slowly, my heart pounding, face burning. I stood up. I thanked them for the invite. And I walked away with my spine straight, but my soul collapsed. I cried in the car. Ugly, gut-wrenching sobs. My hands trembled so hard I could not even start the ignition. I thought I had left that version of Sarah behind. The one who needed approval, who chased friendship, who thought self-worth came from titles, or what kind of shoes she wore. An hour later, I was in my pajamas on the couch, mascara smudged, when I heard the notification sound. I grabbed my phone and stared at the screen. It was a message on Facebook. From Ryan. I just wanted to say, you did not deserve that. I am sorry for what Jessica said. You looked beautiful tonight. Actually, more beautiful than I remembered. My breath caught. I did not know what to reply, but my fingers typed back something simple. Thank you. That was all it took. The conversation continued. Slowly, carefully. He told me he had always admired how real I was. He said he hated the way Jessica treated people when she was trying to impress her friends. He asked if I was okay. I told him the truth, I was not. He offered to come by just to talk. I should have said no. But I said yes. He showed up that same night. I stood in my doorway wearing my oversized hoodie and leggings, hair tied up, looking nothing like the woman at dinner. And yet, his eyes never left mine. He stepped inside and the air between us was thick, like we were both standing at the edge of something neither of us should touch. We sat on the couch. He poured the wine I had forgotten I owned. We talked. We laughed. And then the space between us disappeared. He reached for my hand. I did not pull away. His lips brushed mine, soft and hesitant. I should have stopped it. But I leaned in. That kiss was slow, devastatingly slow. It reminded me that I was still alive. That I could still make someone tremble. His hands explored my body like he had memorized me in another life. There was nothing gentle about what followed. It was desperate, raw. He made love to me like I was everything Jessica had never been to him. And I let him. Right there on my couch with the memory of her words still ringing in my ears. I let her husband tear my loneliness apart. I felt beautiful. Wanted. Worshipped. It was wrong but it was real. As he lay there beside me, his hand resting on my thigh, he whispered, "You are more than a cleaner, Sarah. You are unforgettable." But I knew this was just the beginning. Because secrets like that never stay quiet for long. The next morning I stood barefoot in my kitchen staring at the coffee pot like it owed me answers. The sunlight cut across the floor, warming the very couch where I had just committed the one sin I never thought I would allow myself. My robe clung loosely to my body, still marked by Ryan's touch. Every place he kissed felt branded, like I had been opened in ways I had never been before, not even by my ex-husband. I was not supposed to feel good. I was supposed to feel dirty. But I did not. I felt powerful. I felt seen. But that kind of feeling, it always comes with a cost. It started slowly. First it was messages. Ryan would text me late at night, always careful, always discreet. I never saved his name. Just a blank contact, the kind that could be deleted in a second. But the words? They burrowed in deep. He would say things like, "I dreamt of you again. I cannot stop thinking about how soft your skin felt. You looked so beautiful when you fell asleep beside me." I tried to fight it. I really did. But the truth is, I needed those messages. I needed to feel like someone saw beyond the stained uniforms and tired eyes. I had spent years folding into myself, shrinking to fit the corners of everyone else's lives. With Ryan I was front and center. The next time we met was at the hotel. The irony was almost poetic. The same hotel where I changed sheets and mopped marble floors now became the place I met the husband of the woman who mocked me for doing those very things. Room 412. He had booked it under a fake name, Mr. and Mrs. Dalton. When I entered I expected nerves. I expected guilt. But none of those showed up. Instead there was Ryan's shirt half unbuttoned, a look in his eyes like he had been starving and I was the only meal he had wanted for years. He backed me against the door the second it closed. His mouth claimed mine like he was desperate to silence every doubt in my head. Clothes peeled away like second skin. There was nothing delicate about it. He pushed my legs apart with his knee, his hands gripping me like he needed proof that I was real. We moved together like we were never meant to stop. Afterwards, I lay on the bed staring at the ceiling. He was asleep beside me, one arm draped across my belly like a quiet apology. I should have felt like a traitor. But I just felt free. Ryan and I began seeing each other regularly, always in secret. He would find excuses, late work hours, business trips, gym runs. I knew I was playing with fire, but I had already stepped into the flames. Jessica had no clue, or so I thought. The next time I saw her, it was at a grocery store. She strutted past me in her yoga pants and oversized sunglasses, pushing her cart like she owned the world. She smiled at me, a small, smug little grin, and I wanted so badly to tear it off her face. But I smiled back. Because while she was buying avocados and sparkling water, I was unzipping her husband's pants in the backseat of his car 2 nights before. It was not love. I did not fool myself into thinking that. Ryan and I never talked about the future. We never spoke of feelings. What we had was raw and unspeakable. It was born out of revenge, but it evolved into something dangerously addictive. One night, after a late shift, Ryan met me outside the staff entrance. It was raining. He pulled me into his car and kissed me hard, like he had missed me for centuries. I felt his hand slide up my thigh, and before I knew it, he had taken me right there in the parking lot, windows fogged, thunder rolling above us like it approved. It should have been the last time. But then came the photo. I was in the hotel break room 2 days later when my coworker Jasmine waved her phone at me with wide eyes. "Girl, why is this woman asking if you work here?" I took the phone. My heart stopped. It was a message from someone named Dana, one of Jessica's friends from the reunion dinner. Attached was a blurry photo of me, standing outside room 412, face clear as daylight. I felt like the walls were closing in. I told Jasmine I had no idea what it was about, but the cold sweat on my back said otherwise. As soon as I got home, I messaged Ryan. "We have been seen." He did not respond for hours. When he finally did, it was short. "We need to talk. Face to face." That was when I knew. The bubble had burst. The next time we met, Ryan looked like a man on the edge. He kept checking his phone, his jaw tight, eyes flickering with something I had not seen before, fear. "Jessica has been going through my phone," he said quietly. "She knows something is off. Dana said something. We are not safe anymore." I should have ended it there. Should have walked away. But I did not. Instead I said, "Then what do you want to do?" He looked at me. "I do not know." His voice was empty, just like my chest. That night, I cried harder than I had in months. Not because of guilt, but because I knew the illusion was over. I had let myself believe I could win something in this game, but I had only traded humiliation for secrecy, pain for passion. 3 days later, I got a text from Jessica. "Hey, let us talk. Brunch. Sunday. My place. Just us girls." No emoji. No fluff. Just cold invitation. I stared at that message for hours. I knew what was coming. But I also knew I was not walking into her house empty-handed. I had something of my own, something that would silence them all. I stood in front of Jessica's house holding the envelope like it was a loaded weapon. Inside it were the truths no one ever expected from the quiet cleaner girl who used to eat peanut butter sandwiches in the school cafeteria. The girl they all outgrew. The woman Jessica mocked over dinner with that smug, venom-laced grin. But she did not know what I knew now. She had no idea that the same woman she tried to humiliate was now sleeping with her husband and holding every piece needed to destroy her pristine life. It was Sunday.
10:02 Uhr morgens.
Her neighborhood smelled like trimmed grass, fresh paint and lies. Her white Mercedes sat in the driveway like royalty. The manicured lawn stared back at me. So did the camera at the front door. I rang the bell. Jessica answered like she had been expecting royalty. Hair in a sleek bun, dressed in silk pajamas that screamed money and control. She smiled falsely like always. "Sarah,
Come in."
I stepped in. The house was too clean, too quiet. I noticed only one place setting on the kitchen island, one mimosa. Just one. This was no brunch. This was war. Iset. She stood. There was no small talk. "So," she began, leaning her hip against the granite counter. "What exactly do you think you are doing?" I said nothing. She narrowed her eyes. "Sleeping with my husband? What was that, Sarah? Some sort of revenge for that dinner? Or do you just throw yourself at married men now?" Her voice was ice, but I saw the cracks forming behind it. Her hands were clenched. Her chest rose and fell quicker than before. This woman, so polished, so picture-perfect, was unraveling, and I was the match that lit the fuse. I reached into my purse and pulled out the envelope. Plain. Sealed. Unassuming. I slid it across the counter slowly. She stared at it like it might bite. "What is that?" she snapped. "Open it," I said softly. She did. Inside were photos. Screenshots. Messages. Stills from the hotel hallway camera. Me and Ryan. His car parked outside my apartment at 1 a.m. Our hands interlocked in public. My body on top of his in a hotel bed. His wedding ring clearly visible. Jessica's hands shook. Her face went pale. I had never seen her quiet before. For once, she could not speak. I leaned forward. My voice was calm, deadly calm. You wanted to mock me in front of everyone, Jess? You wanted to reduce me to gloves and toilets and cheap uniforms? Fine. But you forgot something. I stood up slowly. You forgot that I am a woman who knows how to survive. And you pushed me too far. She blinked, staring down at the photos like they were a puzzle she could not solve. Then she laughed, a hollow, broken sound. You think this wins you something? She spat. You think Ryan is going to choose you? I do not want him, I said, sharper now. I never did. But I want you to feel what it is like to be humiliated. I want you to know what it feels like to be laughed at behind your back like you made me feel. She stepped forward, chest rising with fury. You do not belong in our world, Sarah. You are just a cleaner. I interrupted, smiling. Yes, and I cleaned your husband out. He came to me, not the other way around. Silence. Tense, heavy silence. Then I leaned in, close enough to smell her expensive perfume. If I were you, I would pour that mimosa and drink real slow. You are going to need it. And then I walked out. The next 48 hours were a storm I had never expected. Jessica's life crumbled faster than I imagined. She confronted Ryan that night. He denied it at first. Then she threw the photos at him. Friends found out. The women from the dinner began whispering behind her back. By the end of the week, Ryan had moved out. He came by my place once, desperate, pathetic. I still want you, he said, voice cracked with guilt. She threw me out. I have nowhere to go. I laughed in his face. You used me to escape her. And I used you to shut her up. We are even now. Go find someone else to play with. And I closed the door. Hard. Weeks passed. My daughter asked why I had been smiling more lately. I told her I had finally learned how to stop apologizing for surviving. I picked up extra shifts at work. I started walking with my head a little higher. And the best part? Jessica's circle fell apart. The women who used to adore her began to avoid her. Some of them messaged me, saying they never agreed with how she spoke to me. They admitted she was always cruel. That I had every right. I never replied to them. Because I was done proving myself. I had done the unthinkable. Not just the affair, but the revenge, the exposure, the brutal truth. And while some would judge me, others would understand. Because sometimes when a woman is pushed too far, she does not break. She burns. Months later, I stood outside that same fancy restaurant where it all began. I wore a new black dress. My hair curled just the way I liked it. And this time I was not there to impress anyone. I was there because I had earned that moment. I walked in, ordered the same steak, and ate it with pride. Not because I had destroyed a marriage, but because I had reclaimed myself.